Hi, I'm Mark Smith with Macroscopic Solutions. This is going to be the final video in the use of the microscope objectives, or the micro kit, in conjunction with the Macropod Pro 3D. First thing I want to do is show you what it was that we had photographed. These are some contextual images of the same specimen, which was a weevil, at 1/1, or 1:1 magnification, so just 1x. And then these are some close-ups down here at 5x, and then some image crops of those 5x images. So we stepped it up a notch using the micro kit. Here we were imaging the same scales that you see here on the abdomen of this weevil, but we were using 10, 20, and 50x objectives to do that. So what I want to do in this tutorial video is show you how to Photoshop and edit the final output images after we've done all of the focus stacking with each of the objectives, and I've walked you through how to use each. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to each of those folders. This is the 10x. What I'm going to do is just pull it directly into Photoshop. I'm also going to pull in 20x directly into Photoshop, and then I'm also going to pull in the 50x directly into Photoshop. Okay, so now I've got the 50x, I've got the 20x, and I've got the 10x. First thing I note in this image is that the detail is good. You can see that there's some features on the black, but here we're more interested in the scale structure. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be backing off some of the brightness levels. So we're just going to open levels first, and then we're going to just try to take these two icons here and slide them further to the right, which is just going to make some of the areas that are overly bright a little less bright. The other thing we want to do is improve our contrast. So we're going to go to curves. You're just going to take this lower curve and you're just going to move it slightly down, and then you're just going to place another point up here just slightly to the upper left of those squares. That's just going to make the scales pop a little bit more. The next thing I always like to do is go right up to 100%, which is here, 100% magnification, and then try to do a little bit of retouching, so then some finer touching. So just again take levels. These are really subtle forms of editing. We're not changing too much, but we're just going to make sure we get a little bit more detail out of the photograph. And the other thing we're going to do is just do a little small smart sharpen. Here we're going to use the lens blur function. You're not going to go very high. 14% is more than enough, and then a fairly large radius of about 12.6. Just give you an idea of what it looks like before and then after. So you can see there's a little bit more information that we can sort of extract using that tool. Outside of that, that's just about all we want to do to this photograph. So we're just going to save it. The other thing you can do is you can preset some scale bars or drag and drop the scale bars that are available on our website. So we do sell for $5, I believe, the overlay files. So what you'll do is you'll get a folder that just has some templates. And for this one, because we use 10x, what we'll do is you'll just navigate to 10x and you'll take the white scale bar file and you'll just overlay it, and it's going to match up. So now you can see my distance here is 0 to 1 millimeter, and I can apply that to the underside of the image. If that doesn't show well, then you can always just pull in the black one to see what the black looks like, and that one doesn't necessarily show too well either. But those are some options for you in case you do want to add a scale bar. So what we're going to do now is just save this file, and we're going to move on to the 20x. We're going to do the same sort of things. So we're going to open levels. We're going to make everything that's a little bit overly bright a little less bright, and that was just because of the reason why everything is quite bright is because of our lighting. We went a little bit high, knowing that we were going to go ahead and post-process some of the information in these images, but that's okay. The detail is still here, and it's presented really nice. Now what I'm going to do is, again, enlarge the image up to 100%. I'm going to go to curves, and what we're going to try to do is get some of the detail around each of these little features on each individual scale to have a little bit more contrast with each other. So you do that again by taking the lower portion of the curve and moving it to that position, and then the upper right, again, just to add the contrast. And then here also we're going to sharpen our image. So we'll go to Smart Sharpen, keep the parameters exactly the same, and again, that's it for all the editing we're going to do. We're not going to make any other changes or do anything else. Next is the 50x, so we're a lot closer here. You can see a lot more of the color detail in each of the scales. Again, likewise, we're going to do the same sort of things. We're just going to take everything that's dark and make it a little bit darker. We're going to take our curves, and in some cases when you're at 50x, you're starting to get really close, and light is not necessarily going to be your friend at this level of magnification, so you can try to do some of the inverse of what you would do. So typically you would want to brighten an image like this all around. So instead of actually moving this corner down here and this corner up here, which you can see how it kind of oversaturates the image, do the inverse, where you take the underside and then the upper side, and now you're trying to pull out, and you can see how much more the detail and of the structure of each scale really shines and pops out at you. So once that's done, we'll go to filter and we'll do the same Smart Sharpen function, because it's the same. You can just click Apple F if you're on a Mac. And then what we'll do again is we're actually going to go back into curves, and now we've already done that and applied it. It's actually kind of nice to pop back some of the color just by increasing contrast a second time. And again, that's all we're going to do to this photograph. So what I'll do is I'll take this right up to 100%, and again, now you can start to see some of the detail affiliated with each of the scales on this particular Weevil specimen. So that's all I'm going to be doing for the photoshopping of these three photos. I can provide, there will be more Photoshop videos that are going to be going into more detail about greater changes you can make, but as most of our imagery is for scientific application, we want to do as little editing as possible. So here all we're doing is really messing with contrast and sharpening some details that might be slightly blurry, but again, they're really only affecting any changes when you've enlarged about 100% of the image. Some of those changes aren't even going to be noticeable when you're viewing the image fully in context, as shown here. So anyways, thank you very much for choosing Macroscopic Solutions. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or would like to see any future tutorials in terms of going more into depth about Photoshop, maybe leave some comments in the sections below. Things you might want help with that we could probably provide some insight to as we do start to prepare for the types of different photo editing videos that we're going to be producing. Again, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye.